We are back with our season reviews today, and today we're going to be looking at Eric Robinson, who is one of the more underrated Blue Jackets players, I think. That's what's coming today on Locked on Blue Jackets.
Locked on Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Blue Jackets, you're part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you the news, the stories, everything you could want to know all about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day or your first watch of the day. Locked on Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms and also over on YouTube. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, then why not? is all I have to say to that. Like I said at the top of the show, today we're going to be talking all about Eric Robinson, who had career highs in basically every number that you could want him to have highs in, and he's really kind of coming into his own as one of the bottom six Blue Jackets. So I guess we'll start off. The thing to me, I think that a lot of people forget about Eric Robertson is he was undrafted. So he was basically a free prospect, is kind of how I think of undrafted college free agents. He did 4 years at Princeton. So smart guy. A fun Eric Robertson fact is that apparently he can solve a Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes. He did it on one of the Blue Jackets Behind the Battles, I think. So that was cool and fun and not related to his hockey playing at all. Just as a person who has never, ever in their life solved a Rubik's Cube and has given up on ever being able to solve a Rubik's Cube, I thought that was worth mentioning, and also just a fun little Eric Robertson story. Eric Robertson, smarter than this podcast host, is is what we'll say about that. But yeah, I always assumed he was a Blue Jackets draft pick for some reason, and he's not. He was undrafted, like I said, did 4 years at Princeton, wore the C for the last year of it, and then joined the Blue Jackets when his season finished. He's been with the Blue Jackets since 2017-18, kind of. He played one game that season, I assume, just a kind of a show me game. Like, hey, let's see what we've got. This guy has signed his entry level. Let's give him a game and see what happens. And after that, he kind of bounced around a little bit. He split time between the Blue Jackets and the Monsters for the next 2 seasons, heavily weighted in one direction. First, 45 games with Cleveland, 13 games with Columbus in 18-19, and then flipped that 50 games with Columbus, 14 with Cleveland in 1920, and then the 2021 season, he played 56 games with the Blue Jackets, and also got to play in the World Championships, which is neat. And then this season, he played 67 games for the Blue Jackets, so it seems fair to say that he is no longer a prospect and now a full-time Blue Jacket. I've kind of been joking around with Eric Robertson for a little bit. I always call him like Josh Anderson light, because he does have a similar style of game, which appears to just be runaway train. But the difference, I think, is that Josh Anderson has slightly better hands. The other joke I've been making is that when Eric Robertson's hands catch up to the rest of him, he's going to be a really great player. And we did kind of see that this season. He really kind of, and I know, again, people are like, well, he's only a fourth liner. What difference does it make? But I think if you're scoring 10 goals as a fourth liner, making 1.6, I think, 1.6, 1.7. Let's pull up the cap friendly page so I can reference that in a minute. I'm really happy with Eric Robinson's performance this season. He had 27 points in 67 games. So what's that? A point, just under half a point a game, if I'm doing my math right. I'm probably not, but 27 points in 67 games. For a fourth liner making 1.6 million, a guy that was undrafted, a guy that this is his second full season, I would say, with the Blue Jackets. Third, depending on how you count full seasons or not. I've been pretty happy with Eric Robertson's development so far. I do think he still has places to go. He's still young-ish. He's 27, so like he's not a baby, but I do think there are still steps to his development that he can take. He was one of those guys that I thought needed to take a step forward this off season, and he did. Last season, he only had 18 points in 56 games. This season, obviously, we mentioned 27 in 67. So yeah, on the surface, I'm pretty happy with Eric Robertson. In a minute, we're going to talk a little bit more about this season specifically and what I thought he did well, what I thought he could improve on. That's coming up in a minute. First, I want to tell you all about Built Bar because Built Bar have got yet another incredible flavor. This one is actually a returning flavor. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar. That's one of my personal favorites. But guess what? They have given them the Puffs treatment, and now coconut brownie chunk Built Puff is here. It is a chewy, soft, delicious, marshmallowy bar with chunks of brownie with a coconut flavor, covered in 100% real chocolate. And on top of all that, they're also super good for you. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, high deliciousness. They're in here for a limited time though, so go to built.com now to make sure you don't miss out. They are going fast because they taste incredible. And the best part about Built Puffs is, of course, they taste amazing, but you can enjoy them guilt-free. They are the perfect treat when you've got a craving, when you need to satisfy your sweet tooth. I did a hike last weekend, and I took a bunch of Built Puffs with me to give me that energy to keep me going over the hills of England. So stop fantasizing about delicious coconut, rich sweet brownie, and cream marshmallow, and get to Built.com right now to order your box of coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs right now. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15. You can get 15% off your order. Once again, that is promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your box of coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs or any other flavor. But honestly, you should get the coconut brownie chunk Built Puffs now. So let's talk Eric Robinson in kind of broader strokes. Something that really impressed me about Eric Robinson was he spent a bunch of time on the penalty kill this season, which pretty fun. The Blue Jackets lost a lot of their good penalty kill players this season. Obviously, Cam Atkinson went. Nick Foligno was a big penalty kill guy. Dubois played on the penalty kill. I'm trying to find his numbers for his shorthanded time, but yeah. So, like, to put it bluntly, the Blue Jackets needed new people that can kill penalties. Like a David Slardware, that's another one. Obviously, with slightly different role as a defenseman, but Eric Robinson, I feel like, has that. Something that he does really well, obviously, is he is super fast in a straight line. He's pretty fast, like lateral movements as well, but his real skill and something that has burnt teams, especially on the penalty kill, is his just straight ahead speed. Kid's got wheels, and he will outskate almost anyone if he gets going. I think he could probably outskate 90% of this league in a straight line. And that is a great skill for a penalty killer to have, because if he gets the puck and just goes, like, they've got to catch him, even if he goes and then, takes a shot on the goalie from like 50 feet away, just as he's coming off the blue line, and then skates off for a line change or goes after it or whatever. Like, he was a really good penalty killer this season, I think. I don't have the numbers to back me up just yet, but yeah, like I said, I am a big fan of what he did on the penalty kill this season. I'm a big fan of what he did in terms of, like, what's the word I want? In terms of his, like, even strength play as well. But I'm a big fan of what he did in terms of his shorthanded work. And I think that's on a team that struggled hilariously so with the power play. I think having a guy like Eric Robinson that with the penalty kill, excuse me, they struggled with the power play as well, but that is a different story. with his kind of not overarching, but his skill. I don't have the penalty kill numbers up. I can't find them. That's fine. I'm like, for me, that was the big thing for Eric Robertson this season, was kind of coming into his own as a penalty killer, on a team that, like I said, struggled hilariously with killer penalties. I will find the stats to back me up, I promise, at some point. Not in this episode, though. The NHL.com stats site has failed me. But that's the big thing for me, I think, is the penalty kill was good. The even strength play was also pretty good. Like I said, the fourth line, no one really expects a lot. But he was fine. He was serviceable. Obviously there was some kind of moving around throughout the season, but I think by the end of it, that Robinson Corrali Texier line was really, really good. Right up until Texier got injured. And then I think Eric Robertson and Corrali mostly stayed together, and then they put like Brendan Gaunce or someone on that line, and it was effective. It was good. I'm not unhappy at all with Robinson's play, and I don't think many other people were as well. I did the Twitter poll. I did it on like Monday, and then got distracted by all of the news happening. But if I just pull up some of the comments I had, shout out to Robinson's Renegades, who is the premium Eric Robinson fan, who had a bunch of stuff to say about Eric Robinson. But yeah, it's a comment. Robbie has the speed to burn and tools to use. If he's used on the PP and the PK with him playing with curls, that makes him that much more dangerous, especially when they're on 5-on-5. Someone else said, as a season ticket holder, watching Robbie play live is thrilling with his speed and tenacity. My son's favorite player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him take off this upcoming season. And I agree with both of those things. I think he's like I said, I don't know that he's a like underrated player in the way that Bjorkstrand is. I don't ever think we're going to get to the point where it's like, man, who should be getting votes for this award is Eric Johnson. Wow, Eric Robinson is going to be getting votes for whatever. I don't ever think he's going to challenge for the scoring lead on the team. But for what he is, which is an undrafted college free agent and a bottom six guy on a very reasonable deal, that I think extends to next season. Yeah, we've got him signed up for next season and the season after that, and then he is a UFA. So again, for 1.6 million, even if he can have a blowout season next season, and we're still all good in terms of like money and contracts and whatnot. But again, because I've done all of these things and I haven't graded on a curve, I still don't really understand what that means. But I've kind of been grading players in a vacuum and kind of looking at how has this fourth liner done, how has this second liner done, how has this rookie done, and I think that's why, guys like Justin Danforth got a B, despite, again, being kind of a bottom six guy. Cole Sillinger got an A, despite being a rookie who only got like 30-something points, in the grand scheme of things. Like, I don't know that he does get an A, but if you look at him, like, in context, I think, yeah, he gets an A. And the people seem to have given Eric Robinson an A as well. I probably would have given him a B, personally speaking, but I am willing to acquiesce to the people. It was a fairly even split, actually. 45% of people gave him an A, 23% of people gave him a B, 32% of people gave him a C. Again, I could have seen arguments for any of those numbers. I personally would have gone with the minority and given him a B. I do think he has another level that he can get to, especially, he really shone when he had consistent line mates. And the fact of the matter is that the bottom six kind of moves around a lot. Like, it's not the same as the top six, where if you find a line that's working, you stick with it. I always feel like the bottom six is the first chunk of lines to get scrambled. And so when he was playing with Corrali and Texier, he was really good. When he was playing with Corrali and Danforth or Corrali and Gaunce, I thought he was good. But when you start being like, let's just put three random bottom six players together, and then we'll have a different line next game, and then a different line the game after that to try and figure out what's working. I think that's when the inconsistencies start to show in his game. And so I think, I talked a little bit about the like what I think he needs to improve on. And unfortunately, I think the things that he needs to improve on are things that are kind of out of his control. It's things like, can you stay healthy all season? I don't know if he was out because I think he was injured for a little while. He missed a chunk of games between January and March. He missed basically the entirety of February due to an injury. I don't remember what that injury was, but that was, again, not great. And his average time on ice this season was surprisingly high. I don't think he played under 10 minutes in any game, which, I mean, okay, here we go. I can see where he got injured because he only played 2 minutes on the January 31st game versus Florida, and then missed a month. So you can see where the injury happened. But that game aside, he didn't play under 10 minutes, which I think is, like, I'm not mad about that. I think, again, consistency. I don't like it when they make the good players play like 25 minutes a game. I don't think it's necessary. I think it shows real weaknesses in your lineup, and I think that's something that the Blue Jackets did pretty well this season, like as a whole, was taking players who maybe on, like, in other circumstances would have been playing 25 minutes and being like, actually, no, we're going to play you 20 minutes a game. See how much more effective you are then. This didn't work super well for the defenseman, and we're going to get into the defenseman, when we finished all of the forwards. I think we're about halfway through the forwards because so many people played for the Blue Jackets this season. But the Blue Jackets forwards, I thought, had a really good spread of, like, everyone played, I think, between 10 and 20 minutes on average, which is really great. We won't discuss the Zach Werenski, Andrew Peak playing 27 minutes a night occasionally thing because, again, it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. That's a story that is a complaint for a different podcast. But on the whole, like I said, pretty happy with Eric Robertson, and my hopes for next season are that he keeps doing what he's doing, and maybe scores a couple more goals. Like, we used to call him, my friends used to call him Stonehand Robinson because he would get so many breakaways and then never score on any of them. And it seems like he's doing better. His hands have definitely improved, and I think if he can take another step in that direction, then he's going to take another step toward being that kind of Josh Anderson light that I think he can be. And I think he's a really good. So, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, but I've noticed one beat reporter for Columbus talking a lot about how Columbus needs some grit and some size in the draft or in free agency or whatever, because apparently they're getting bullied and there's a lot of, like, made up receipts flying around. But I think that if the Blue Jackets want someone with grit and with size, I think they could do worse than Eric Robinson. He's already on the team. He's not a goon. He's not a fighter, but I don't think that the Blue Jackets need a fighter anyway. He refuses to be bullied. He's big, he's fast, he can hit. How many hits did he have this season? No, it's not going to show me. That's fine. But he also knows how to stay out the box with that as well. He only had 18 penalty minutes, so clearly he knows how to toe the line. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of these, like, let's go out and get someone like Ryan Reeves, or let's go out and get, God, I don't know, I've gone completely blank on any other guy that does that kind of thing because there's just not a lot of, or let's go out and get Pat Maroon, for example. And I don't think the Blue Jackets need that. I really don't. And I think they have what they need in terms of physicality right here. So why would they give up draft picks for someone who's not going to improve the team beyond taking penalties and hitting guys? Which you shouldn't be hitting guys anyway because you should have the puck. But that's beside the point. And that's kind of all I've got for today. If we move on from that little tangent, that's a whole rant that I've stored up for a future episode probably. I've been Joe Foster. You can find this person, me. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find this podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. I am on YouTube. If you haven't found your way to YouTube yet, the Locked On Blue Jackets is over there. Locked On Blue Jackets. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit watch, whatever whenever you've got time for in your day. Locked on Blue Jackets is free and available on YouTube, on every podcast platform. We're never going to make you pay for a Locked On product here, so fill your boots, as my as my granddad would say. We've got all the content that you could ever want, not just Blue Jackets. Every team, pick a team. We've got a podcast for it. Except like 3, but that's fine. What are the chances of you picking one of those 3 podcasts? Anyway, I have gotten incredibly off topic. Thank you all for watching, listening, making this your first listen of the day, your second watch, whatever time it is where you are. I appreciate you. Tomorrow we're going to do another review. We're going to do, I think it's Emil Bemstrom. If again, this preview business is really testing my ability to remember who is where in the lineup of numbers. Yeah, we're doing Emil Bemstrom next. So that should be an interesting one. There'll be a Twitter poll going up. If you have thoughts, feelings about Emil Bemstrom, please feel free to share them over on Twitter, on email, on YouTube, whatever you think. And until then, make sure you stay locked on.